This cannot stand. You can't just leave a child here all night. Isabella's voice echoed through the sterile hospital corridor, sharp with fury, directed at the hospital administrator. She's a child, not a forgotten package. Do you understand the gravity of this situation? Look, Isabella, I've called social services 4 times. The administrator retorted, his patience clearly worn thin. They're overwhelmed. There's no space in any shelter until tomorrow. Our hands are tied. Isabella's gaze drifted to the waiting room. The little girl sat there, still, on the same cold, blue plastic chair, her clothes soiled, her eyes fixed on the linoleum floor. She hadn't moved in 8 hours. Can you even begin to imagine the fear and isolation she must be feeling? What if no one comes tomorrow either? Isabella pressed, a desperate plea in her voice. That's not our problem, Valdez. Your shift ends, you go home. The night staff will handle it. Isabella moved slowly towards the child. She was perhaps 5, maybe 6. Her brown hair was matted, and her small blue jacket bore streaks of dirt. Hello, little one. What's your name? The girl looked up for the first time. Her eyes were vast and dark, like twin pools of a moonless night, but she offered no reply. Are you hungry? Nothing. Are you cold? The girl barely moved her head, an almost imperceptible nod. It was a yes. Isabella peeled off her own sweater, draping it gently over the child's small shoulders. From a distance, the administrator shook his head in disapproval. Isabella, don't get involved. You know how these stories end. Haven't you seen it happen before? Which stories? Isabella shot back, her voice tight. The ones about leaving a child alone in a hospital overnight, about nurses who get too attached and then end up in legal trouble. Isabella ignored him, sinking onto the cold plastic seat beside the girl. Do you know where you live? Silence. Do you have a mommy? A daddy? The child's eyes welled, but no tears fell. The clock on the wall ticked past midnight. The hospital corridors were eerily quiet. Only a few emergency patients remained, and the skeleton night crew. Valdez, go home, the administrator shouted. Your shift ended hours ago. Isabella looked at the child one last time. She couldn't leave her there. She simply couldn't. Hey, little one, do you want to come with me? Just for tonight. Tomorrow we'll figure it out. The girl eyed her with profound suspicion, but when Isabella extended her hand, she took it. Isabella, what are you doing? The administrator rushed towards them. I'm taking her home, just for one night. Are you insane? You can't just take her. There are protocols, paperwork, authorizations. What paperwork? When we don't even know who she is, and social services won't be here until morning. If you take her, it's under your responsibility. The hospital takes no liability whatsoever. Perfect. Isabella scooped the child into her arms. She was lighter than she expected, a feather-light bundle of fragile trust. She walked towards the exit, the administrator's frantic shouts echoing behind her. This will end badly, Valdez. Very badly. Outside, the rain had begun to fall, a soft, melancholic drizzle. Isabella buckled the child into her old car. Are you scared? She whispered, turning the ignition. The girl shook her head, but her small hands trembled. During the drive home, Isabella couldn't stop thinking about what she had just done. She had acted on impulse without considering the consequences, yet she felt no regret. They arrived at her small apartment in the historic quarter of Gracia, Barcelona. It was a simple place. 2 rooms, a tiny living area, and a kitchen barely big enough for a 2-person table. Well, we're here. Do you want something to eat? The girl nodded timidly. Isabella prepared instant soup and a ham sandwich. The little one ate slowly, as if she hadn't tasted food in days. Is it good? Another nod. After she finished eating, Isabella led her to the bathroom. Let's get you a bath, okay? So you can be more comfortable. As she filled the tub with warm water, she noticed the girl wouldn't take off her jacket. Don't you want to take it off? It's very dirty. The child clutched the jacket to her chest and shook her head vehemently. It's okay, no problem. We'll just wash it a little. okay? With immense patience, Isabella managed to bathe the child without completely removing her underwear. There were bruises on her arms and legs, old, yellowish. Isabella's stomach churned. After the bath, she lent her one of her old t-shirts, which fit her like a dress. The girl looked smaller and more fragile than before. Where will you sleep? Isabella wondered aloud. Her apartment only had one bed. She decided the girl would sleep there, and she would take the sofa. When she tucked her in, the little one clung to her hand. Are you afraid to sleep alone? A small nod. Isabella sat on the edge of the bed and stroked her hair until she fell asleep. Only then did she allow herself to cry. What had she done? How would she explain this tomorrow? What if the child's family was looking for her? But when she saw her sleeping so peacefully for the first time in hours, she knew she had done the right thing. At least for that night. Like this video if you're already captivated by Isabella's bravery. Don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories. Isabella woke at 5 in the morning to a piercing scream. She rushed to the room and found the girl sitting up in bed, trembling, her eyes wide with terror. What's wrong, little one? Did you have a nightmare? The child looked at her without responding, but extended her arms. Isabella hugged her, feeling her own heart pound. It's okay, it's okay. You're safe with me. They stayed like that for several minutes until the child calmed down. Isabella noticed she had a fever. You have to stay home today, she told herself. You can't go to work. She called the hospital to report herself sick. It was the first time in 3 years she'd missed work without actually being ill, but she had no choice. Are you hungry? She asked the girl after hanging up. A small nod. She prepared oatmeal with cinnamon and banana. The child ate a little but left half. Isabella worried. She was very thin for her age. Throughout the morning, the little one stayed close to her constantly. If Isabella went to the kitchen, she followed. If she sat on the sofa, the child sat beside her. Do you want to watch TV? She put on cartoons, but the girl didn't seem interested. She just watched Isabella. At noon, Isabella decided to try to get more information. Can you tell me your name? You don't have to speak. Just nod or shake your head. Is your name Sophia? The girl shook her head. Anna? No. Elena? No. She tried several more names, but the answer was always the same. After lunch, while washing dishes, she noticed the child playing with something in her pocket. It was the jacket she had arrived in the day before. What do you have there? The girl became nervous and hid her hands. It's okay, nothing's wrong. I'm just curious. Very slowly, the little one pulled out a tiny golden bracelet. It had 2 minuscule plates with engraved letters. S.P.? Is it yours? The girl nodded. Is the S for your name? Another nod. Sophia? No. Sarah? No. Sylvia? The child's eyes lit up for the first time. She nodded emphatically. Sylvia? What a beautiful name. I like it very much. The girl smiled. It was the first smile Isabella had seen on her face. And the P is for your last name? Sylvia shrugged. She didn't seem to know. That afternoon, Isabella took Sylvia to the small park near her building. The child didn't want to play but sat on a bench watching other children. Would you like to play with them? Sylvia shook her head and clung closer to Isabella. An elderly woman approached them. Is she your granddaughter? No, she's a friend. She looks a lot like you. You have the same eyes. Isabella looked at Sylvia. She hadn't noticed, but it was true. They both had large, dark eyes. That night, while preparing dinner, Sylvia fell asleep on the sofa. Isabella carried her to bed very carefully. As she took off her shoes, she noticed they had holes in the soles. Her underwear was also very worn. It was obvious she had spent a long time without proper care. That night, Sylvia had nightmares again. Isabella heard her crying and rushed to hug her. Did you have a bad dream? Sylvia nodded through tears. Do you want to tell me? The girl opened her mouth as if to speak, but no sound came out. She moved her lips soundlessly. Can she not speak? Or does she choose not to? What do you think? It's okay, it doesn't matter. You'll talk when you're ready. Isabella lay down beside Sylvia and sang her a lullaby her grandmother used to sing when she was little. The child fell asleep listening. The next day, Isabella woke up and found Sylvia standing by the window, looking out at the street. "Are you looking for someone?" Sylvia turned to her and for the first time whispered something very softly. "Mama." It was the first word she spoke. Isabella approached and hugged her. "Did your mommy leave?" Sylvia nodded and began to cry silently. "A long time ago." Sylvia held up 3 tiny fingers. 3 days. She shook her head. 3 weeks. Sylvia shrugged. She didn't seem to understand time well. Isabella realized she had to make a decision. She couldn't keep missing work, but she also couldn't leave Sylvia alone, and she still hadn't called social services. That afternoon, while Sylvia drew on paper Isabella had found, someone knocked on the door. Isabella looked through the peephole and saw an elegant man in a dark suit and shiny shoes. She didn't know him. Her heart began to pound. What if he was here for Sylvia? "Don't open," Sylvia whispered. Running to Isabella and clinging to her leg, the man knocked again, harder. "Miss Valdez, I know you're in there. I just want to talk to you." Isabella felt a chill. How did he know her name? "Who are you?" she shouted through the door. "My name is Ricardo Torres. I believe you have my daughter." Sylvia began to tremble. Isabella picked her up and felt her cling to her neck in desperation. "I don't have any daughter of yours. The girl you took from the hospital 2 weeks ago. Her name is Sylvia." 2 weeks. It had passed so quickly that Isabella hadn't noticed. Sylvia was already a part of her daily routine. "Do you have any documents to prove it?" "Yes, all you need." Isabella looked at Sylvia, who was shaking her head desperately. "Wait a moment." She took Sylvia to the room and closed the door. "Is that man your father?" Sylvia nodded, but her eyes showed pure terror. "He hurt you." The girl touched her arms where the old bruises were. "Did he hit you?" Sylvia shrugged, as if she didn't know how to explain. "Listen closely." Isabella knelt to her height. "I won't let anyone hurt you, understand? But I have to talk to him." She opened the door. Ricardo Torres was a man in his 40s, tall, with perfectly combed dark hair and expensive clothes. He held a folder in his hands. "May I come in?" "No, speak from there." Ricardo sighed. "Sylvia is my daughter. Her mother took her 2 years ago without my permission. I've been looking for them ever since." "Where is the mother?" "I don't know, that's why I'm here." Isabella didn't believe him. Something about his demeanor didn't inspire trust. "Show me the documents." Ricardo opened the folder and showed her Sylvia's birth certificate. There it was. Sylvia Torres, daughter of Ricardo Torres and Marta Solano. He also had photos. A younger Sylvia, in a pink dress, smiling next to him. "Why did it take you 2 years to find her?" "Her mother changed her name, went into hiding. I hired private investigators. Finally, someone saw her at the hospital and notified me." "Someone saw her? Who?" "That doesn't matter. What matters is that I need to take her." "She doesn't want to go with you. She's a child. Children don't decide these things." That answer confirmed Isabella's suspicions. This man understood nothing about Sylvia. "Do you know she doesn't speak?" Ricardo looked surprised. "What do you mean she doesn't speak?" "She only says a few words. She has nightmares every night. She eats very little. She's afraid of everything. That's due to her mother's abandonment. With me, she'll recover." "Where were you when she was abandoned at the hospital?" "Working. I didn't know she was here in Seville." Isabella closed the door for a moment and went back to the room. Sylvia was hiding under the bed. "Little one, come out." "I don't want to go with him," Sylvia whispered. "Why?" "He yells at me. He leaves for many days. He leaves me alone." Isabella felt a surge of anger. She returned to the door. "She tells me you used to leave her alone and yell at her. She's a child. She can say anything. Besides, I thought she didn't speak. She speaks to me because she trusts me." "Look, Miss Valdez, I understand you've become attached to her, but Sylvia is my daughter. I have the legal right to take her. And if I don't want to give her to you, Ricardo's eyes hardened. Then I'll have to call the police. You took a minor without authorization. That's kidnapping. Isabella felt her world crashing down. He was right. Legally, she had no right over Sylvia. I need time to prepare her. I'll give you until tomorrow. I'll come pick her up at 5 in the afternoon. Where are you taking her? To my house where she belongs. Ricardo left without another word. Isabella closed the door and slid to the floor. What was she going to do? Sylvia rushed out of the room and threw herself into her arms. Don't let me go with him, please. I don't know what to do, little one. He's your dad. You're a better mom than dad. Those words broke Isabella's heart. In 2 weeks, Sylvia had filled a void she hadn't known she had. She remembered her own childhood. Her mother worked all day and left her alone. Her father had left when she was 7. She had grown up feeling invisible, unloved. She couldn't let Sylvia live the same. That night, she hugged Sylvia until she fell asleep. But she couldn't sleep. She had less than 24 hours to find a solution. Do you think Isabella should give Sylvia back? What would you do in her shoes? Let us know in the comments below. At 5 o'clock sharp, Ricardo knocked on the door. Isabella had spent all day preparing Sylvia. But the child hadn't stopped crying. Has he arrived? Sylvia whispered, trembling. Remember what we talked about. If anything bad happens, you call me. Okay? Isabella had given her phone number written on a small piece of paper. She opened the door. Ricardo was accompanied by an elegant woman carrying a briefcase. Miss Valdez, this is my lawyer, Patricia Rojas. Do you need a lawyer to take your own daughter? It's just as a precaution, the woman said. So everything is legal. Sylvia hid behind Isabella. Sylvia, come here, Ricardo ordered. The girl shook her head. Don't make me repeat myself. His voice was cold, authoritarian. Isabella felt Sylvia cling tighter to her clothes. Let me talk to her, Isabella intervened. She knelt in front of Sylvia and spoke softly. Remember what I told you? You are very brave. And if you need anything, you talk to me. Sylvia nodded through tears. Are you done? Ricardo asked impatiently. I need to take her home before dark. Isabella handed him a bag with the clothes she had bought for Sylvia during those 2 weeks. Here are her things. What things? I'll buy her new clothes. These are the only things she has. Don't take them from her. Ricardo took the bag without looking at it. Sylvia, let's go. The girl walked slowly towards him, turning to look at Isabella every few steps. Take good care of her, Isabella said. I don't need you to teach me how to care for my daughter. They left. Isabella closed the door and stood there for several minutes. The house felt empty, silent. For the first time in 2 weeks, she didn't have to prepare food for 2, or worry about nightmares or invent games, but she didn't feel free. She felt lost. 3 days later, her phone rang at 2 in the morning. Isabella? It was Sylvia's tiny voice. Sylvia, are you okay? What happened? I'm scared. He's not here. He left again. Are you alone? Yes. A lady comes during the day, but at night I'm alone. Isabella felt a surge of rage. Where do you live? I don't know. It's a very big house. I have my room, but it's very far from his. Have you eaten? A little. I don't like the food. Can you hold on until tomorrow? I'm coming to see you. Really? I promise you. The next day, Isabella got Ricardo's address through a friend who worked in civil registry. It was a mansion in Paseo de Gracia, Barcelona, the most elegant neighborhood in the city. She rang the doorbell. A housekeeper opened. I'm here to see Sylvia. Are you family? I'm a friend. The employee let her in. The house was enormous, filled with expensive furniture and large paintings, but it felt cold, lifeless. Sylvia ran down the stairs and threw herself into her arms. You came. I told you I would. How have you been? Sad. I don't like this house. Isabella saw that Sylvia had lost weight. She had dark circles under her eyes and looked pale. Where's your dad? Traveling. He says he has important work. When does he return? I don't know. Sometimes he leaves for many days. At that moment Ricardo arrived. He looked surprised and annoyed. What are you doing here? Sylvia called me. She was alone and scared. That's not true. Luz stays with her. The employee shook her head. Sir, I leave at 6. I've told you several times. Ricardo turned red with embarrassment. Since when? Since I started working here 3 months ago. And who stays with Sylvia at night? No one, sir. I thought you knew. Isabella couldn't believe what she was hearing. You leave a 6-year-old child alone all night? I didn't know. How could you not know? She's your daughter. Don't shout at me. This is my house. Oh, this is your daughter. Do you know she hasn't eaten well? That she cries every night? That she's scared. Ricardo looked at Sylvia, who was hiding behind Isabella. Sylvia, is that true? The child nodded without looking at him. Why didn't you tell me? Sylvia whispered. Because you don't listen to me. The answer left him speechless. Look, Mr. Torres, Isabella said. It's obvious you don't know how to take care of a child. Let me help you. I don't need your help. Sylvia needs it. Ricardo was silent for several minutes, looking at his daughter.
What do you propose?
That you let me stay here for a few weeks to help with the transition, so she feels safe. That's ridiculous. More ridiculous than leaving a child alone at night? Ricardo sighed. For the first time since she had met him, he looked defeated. Okay, but only a few weeks and you sleep in the guest room. Sylvia smiled for the first time in days. Are you going to stay with me? For a while, little one. For a while. Do you think Ricardo is finally ready to be a father? Will this fragile family find true happiness? Share your thoughts. Isabella had been living in the mansion for a week when she decided to investigate on her own. Something about Ricardo's story didn't add up. While he worked in his office and Sylvia played in the garden, she took the opportunity to call her friend Carmen, who worked in hospital records. Carmen, I need your help with something. Can you look up information about a Marta Solano? The little girl's mother? Yes. Ricardo says she disappeared 2 years ago, but I want to be sure. Give me an hour. That afternoon, Carmen called her back. Isabella, I found something, but you're not going to like it. Tell me. Marta Solano died a month ago at St. Pau Hospital. She was registered as homeless, under the name Elena Gomez. Isabella felt her breath catch in her throat. Are you sure? I have the death certificate right here. She died of pneumonia complications. She had no identification. That's why they registered her under a false name. And no one claimed the body? No. They cremated her after a week. Isabella hung up the phone with trembling hands. Ricardo didn't know Sylvia's mother had died. How was she going to tell him? That night, after putting Sylvia to bed, she went down to the living room where Ricardo was reviewing work documents. I need to talk to you. What now? It's about Marta. Ricardo looked up immediately. Did you find her? Ricardo. She died. The words came out harsher than Isabella intended. Ricardo dropped the papers. What? She died a month ago at St. Pau Hospital. From pneumonia. No, it can't be. For the first time since she had known him, Isabella saw Ricardo vulnerable. His eyes filled with tears. How do you know? A friend helped me investigate. She was registered under a false name. Ricardo got up and walked to the window, turning his back to her. Did she suffer? I don't know. The certificate only says respiratory complications. She was a good mother, Ricardo whispered. Better than me as a father. Why did she leave with Sylvia? Ricardo turned around. His eyes were red. Because I was an idiot. I worked 18 hours a day. I was never home. I only yelled because I was stressed. Did you hit Sylvia? Not directly, but I yelled at her. Once I yelled so loud she wet herself out of fear. Marta told me I was a monster. Isabella felt sorry for him, but more sorry for Sylvia. And why didn't you change? I thought I had time. I thought Marta was exaggerating. One night I came home from a trip, and they were gone. She left a letter saying she was going to protect Sylvia from me. You never looked for them? The first few months, yes. I hired detectives. But then I convinced myself it was better that way. That Sylvia would be better off without me. Then why did you come for her now? Ricardo sat heavily on the sofa. Because I realized I needed them. The house felt empty. Work had no meaning. But when I saw her in your arms, I saw what I could never give her. What? Peace. Sylvia looked calm with you. With me, she's always tense. Isabella sat beside him. Children feel the stress of adults. If you are calm, she will be calm. I don't know how to be a father, Isabella. My own father was never present. I had no example. But you can learn. Sylvia needs a father, not a boss. Will you help me? Do you really want to change? Yes. I don't want Sylvia to end up hating me like I hated my father. The next day, Ricardo did something that surprised everyone. He canceled all his meetings. Why? Isabella asked him. I'm taking Sylvia to the park. Do you want to come? At the park, Ricardo looked lost. He didn't know how to approach his daughter. Just play with her, Isabella told him. Don't think so much. Ricardo pushed Sylvia on the swing. At first, he was tense, but little by little he relaxed. Sylvia laughed and shouted louder, Papa! See, Isabella told him. It's not so difficult. That night, Ricardo tried to read Sylvia a story before bed. She listened without interrupting. But when he finished, she asked, Why did you leave for so long? Ricardo didn't know what to answer. I thought it was best for you, but it wasn't. No, little one, I was wrong. Are you not leaving anymore? I'm going to try to stay home more often. Sylvia hugged him for the first time since he had arrived. I missed you, Papa. Ricardo hugged her back and cried silently. Isabella watched them from the doorway. Maybe, just maybe, things could get better. But she knew the road would be long and difficult. What incredible turn of events. Will Isabella face legal consequences? What are your predictions for their future?
Comment below?
Isabella woke to the sound of the doorbell at 7 in the morning. Through the window, she saw an official car parked outside. What's happening? Ricardo asked, coming downstairs in his pajamas. I don't know, there are government people outside. They opened the door. 2 social welfare officials were waiting for them with documents in their hands. Isabella Valdez. Yes, that's me. We have an investigation order for alleged improper appropriation of a minor. Isabella's world collapsed. What? Someone reported that you took a child from the hospital without authorization and kept her in your home for 2 weeks. Ricardo intervened. I am the child's father. There's no longer any problem. Sir, the legal process must run its course. The complaint has already been filed. Who filed the complaint? Isabella asked. That information is confidential. But Isabella knew who it was. The hospital administrator, the one who had warned her this would end badly. What does this mean? It means there will be an investigation. You cannot have contact with the minor until the case is resolved. That's ridiculous, Ricardo shouted. This woman saved my daughter. Sir, we understand the situation, but the law is clear. Sylvia appeared on the stairs, still in her pajamas. What's happening? Why are you shouting? The officials looked at her. Are you Sylvia Torres? The child nodded timidly. Did this lady do anything bad to you? Sylvia looked at Isabella with confusion. No. She takes care of me. Did she force you to go with her? No. I wanted to go. Did she hit you or yell at you? No. Isabella is good to me. One of the officials wrote everything in a notebook. Miss Valdez, you must report to our offices on Monday at 2 p.m. And if I don't go, then the investigation order becomes an arrest warrant. They left the documents. Isabella stood in the doorway, unable to process what had just happened. This is my fault, Ricardo said. I should have handled things differently from the start. It's no one's fault. I did what I had to do. Papa. Sylvia approached. Are they taking Isabella away? Ricardo picked her up. Nothing bad will happen, little one. But his voice sounded uncertain. That afternoon, Ricardo's phone didn't stop ringing. Journalists, acquaintances, employees from his company. The news had broken on social media. Millionaire businessman recovers daughter kidnapped by nurse. This is a lie, Isabella shouted, reading the headline. I didn't kidnap her. I know. But the press doesn't understand nuances. Patricia, Ricardo's lawyer, arrived that night with more bad news. Ricardo, I need you to publicly distance yourself from Isabella. Why? Because if you keep defending her, they'll think there's something strange between you, that maybe you planned everything together. That's ridiculous. But that's what people will think. Your image is at risk. Isabella listened to the conversation from the kitchen. She understood Ricardo's position, but it hurt. What do you recommend? Ricardo asked. That Isabella leave the house immediately. That you make a public statement saying you are grateful for recovering your daughter, but that you do not support the methods used. I won't betray Isabella. It's not betrayal, it's survival. Isabella came out of the kitchen. She's right, Ricardo, I'm leaving. No, you're not leaving because of press pressure. I'm leaving because it's best for Sylvia. If I stay, this will get worse. That night, as she packed her things, Sylvia entered the guest room. Are you leaving? Yes, little one, but not forever. Is it my fault? Isabella knelt in front of her. None of this is your fault. Adults sometimes do things wrong, but that doesn't mean it's the children's fault. I don't want you to go. I don't want to go either, but sometimes we have to do things we don't want to protect the people we love. Sylvia hugged her tightly. Are you going to forget me? Never. You are very special to me. The next day, Isabella left early before Sylvia woke up. She didn't want Sylvia to see her cry. Ricardo walked her to her car. This isn't going to end like this. Take care of Sylvia. That's all that matters. Isabella. What? Thank you. For everything. Isabella left without looking back. 3 days later, her phone rang at midnight. Isabella? It was Luz, the housekeeper. What's wrong? Sylvia ran away from the house. We're looking for her all over the neighborhood. She ran away? How? Mr. Ricardo was in an important meeting. I went to get her for dinner, and she wasn't in her room. The garden door was open. Isabella felt panic. Did you call the police? Yes, but they can't find her. Miss Isabella, she kept asking for you. I think she went to look for you. Isabella hung up and ran out of her apartment. She had to find Sylvia before something bad happened to her. Isabella drove through the streets of Barcelona for 2 hours, searching for Sylvia in every park, every corner. Her heart pounded so hard she could hear it. 2 in the morning, her phone rang. Isabella? It's Ms. Carmen, your neighbor. Ms. Carmen, there's a little girl here in the building. She says she knows you. She's very tired and cold. Isabella almost fainted with relief. I'm on my way. When she arrived, she found Sylvia sitting on the building stairs, hugging her knees. Her shoes were muddy, and her eyes were swollen from crying. Sylvia! The girl ran to her and clung to her waist. I looked for you at your house, but you weren't there. How did you get here? I walked. I remembered the way. Isabella mentally calculated. From Paseo de Gracia to Gracia was more than 10 kilometers. A 6-year-old child had walked all that alone at night. Weren't you scared? Yes, but I wanted to see you. Miss Carmen approached with a blanket. Poor thing. She arrived an hour ago. She was crying a lot. At that moment Ricardo arrived in his car, accompanied by 2 police officers. He got out running. Sylvia! But the girl hid behind Isabella. I don't want to go back to that house. Sylvia, I was very worried. You left again. You said you weren't going to leave. Ricardo looked devastated. I had an important meeting. You always have important meetings, Sylvia shouted. One of the police officers approached. Miss Valdez, you are prohibited from having contact with the minor. She came to look for me. That doesn't change the legal order. Ricardo intervened. Officer, I am the father. I will not file any complaint. Sir, that is not your decision. There is a legal process underway. This is ridiculous. Ricardo exploded. This woman saved my daughter's life, and you treat her like a criminal. Sir, calm down, or we'll have to arrest you too. Sylvia started crying. I don't want anyone arrested. I just want Isabella to come home. Isabella knelt in front of her. Little one, you have to go with your dad. And you? Me, I can't go now. Why? Because there are people who say I did something wrong. But you didn't do anything wrong. I know, but I have to explain it to them. Ricardo slowly approached. Sylvia, can you forgive me? The girl looked at him with distrust. Why? Because I left you alone again. Because I didn't listen to you when you told me you wanted Isabella to stay. Is it not going to happen again? I promise it won't. Can Isabella come back? Ricardo looked at the police officers who shook their heads. Not now, little one. But I'm going to do everything I can to fix this. Sylvia turned to Isabella. Do you promise you won't forget me? I promise. And that you'll come back? Isabella didn't want to lie to her, but she also didn't want to break her heart. I'll try. Ricardo picked up Sylvia, who kept watching Isabella until the car disappeared. The next few days were the most difficult in Isabella's life. She couldn't work, she couldn't concentrate. She only thought about Sylvia. On Monday, she went to the appointment at social welfare. The social worker was an older woman with a serious expression. Miss Valdez, do you understand why you are here? Yes, but I don't agree. You don't agree with what? With helping an abandoned child being a crime. The problem isn't that you helped her. The problem is that you took her without following protocols. What protocols? Social services had no space. Was I supposed to leave her on the street? Should you have left her with the hospital authorities? The hospital authorities didn't want to take responsibility. The interview lasted 2 hours. In the end, the social worker told her, "We are going to investigate your case. In the meantime, you cannot have contact with the minor." For how long? That depends on the results of the investigation. That night, Ricardo appeared at her apartment. How did you know my address? I followed you the day you left my house. What do you want? To talk. Sylvia hasn't eaten well since you left. She doesn't speak. She's having nightmares again. And what can I do? I'm forbidden to see her. Help me fix this. How? Ricardo sat on Isabella's small sofa. My lawyer says that if you withdraw the complaint. I didn't file any complaint. No, but you can ask to close the case. If you say you acted in good faith and that there's no longer a conflict because I recovered my daughter. And what do you gain from that? For Sylvia to smile again. Isabella looked at him intently. Do you really want me to come back? Yes, Sylvia needs you. And I do too. What does that mean? Ricardo was silent for a moment. It means that in these weeks I've learned more about being a father than in 6 years. And it was thanks to you. Ricardo, I'm not asking for anything strange. Just help us, Sylvia and me. Teach us how to be a family. Isabella felt something strange in her chest. It was hope. And if the authorities don't accept, then we'll fight together. For the first time in days, Isabella smiled. Just teach me how to make paella properly. Is that a yes? It's a let's try it. Ricardo hugged her. And for the first time in her life, Isabella felt like she had come home. From the upstairs window, Sylvia watched them, smiling. Mama, Papa, she whispered. We're a real family now. This is the true meaning of family. What a beautiful journey of healing and hope. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this incredible ending. Share your feelings in the comments. The next day, the three of them went to the market together. Ricardo pushed the cart while Sylvia and Isabella chose fruits. Papa, Sylvia said. What, little one? Isabella going to be my mom now? Ricardo and Isabella looked at each other. Do you want me to be your mom? Isabella asked. Yes, but I don't want you to fight like my dad and my other mom fought. We won't fight, Ricardo said. Promise. Promise. Sylvia smiled and took each of their hands. Now we're 3 in 1. 6 months later, life had taken on a different rhythm. They no longer lived in the cold mansion in Paseo de Gracia. They had moved to a small house in El Born, with a garden full of plants and walls covered with Sylvia's drawings. Isabella still worked at the hospital but now only day shifts. Ricardo had converted the study into his office and received clients at home 3 times a week. The other days he dedicated completely to his family. "Papa, you burned the rice again," Sylvia shouted from the kitchen. "It's not burned, it's just toasted," Ricardo replied, fanning the smoke coming from the pot. Isabella arrived from work and found the typical scene. Ricardo trying to cook while Sylvia gave him instructions from a chair. "What happened here? Dad wanted to make arroz con pollo, but he forgot to add water," Sylvia explained very seriously. "I did add water," Ricardo defended himself. "Just 2 drops," the child added, making Isabella laugh. "Let me check." Isabella approached the stove. Indeed, the rice was stuck to the bottom of the pot. "Ricardo, this can't be saved." "See," Sylvia said. "I told you you had to wait for Isabella to arrive." Okay, I get it. Next time we wait for the expert." Ricardo hugged Isabella by the waist as she inspected the mess. "How was your day?" he asked in her ear. "Long. 3 surgeries and an emergency." "Yours?" "Perfect. Sylvia helped me with a presentation for a client." "Really?" "I explained the project to her, and she told me it needed more colors." She was right. Sylvia got off the chair and hugged Isabella's legs. "Do you know what I learned at school today?" "What?" "That families can come in many forms. The teacher asked us to draw ours." "And how did you draw yours?" "Wait. I'll bring it to you." Sylvia ran to her room and returned with a colorful drawing. In the drawing, 3 figures held hands in front of a small house. Above, she had written in large letters, "My family of 3 in 1. Do you like it?" "I love it," Isabella said, her eyes welling up. "I also got homework," Ricardo said. "What?" "I have to ask you something very important." Ricardo stepped back a little and pulled a small box from his shirt pocket. "What's that?" Sylvia asked, curious. "It's a question for Isabella." He knelt in front of her. Isabella covered her mouth with her hands. "Ricardo, Isabella Valdez, will you marry me? Will you officially become part of this crazy family?" "Say yes," Sylvia shouted, clapping. Isabella looked at the simple ring, then at Ricardo kneeling, then at Sylvia with her bright eyes full of excitement. "Are you sure? I snore when I'm very tired." "I know," Ricardo laughed. "And you sing really off-key in the shower? And you take forever in the bathroom," Sylvia added. "That's your proposal? To mention all my flaws." "My proposal is to love you, flaws and all, because your flaws are also perfect for me." Isabella leaned down and kissed him. "Yes, I want to marry you, both of you." Sylvia threw herself on top of them, screaming with happiness. "We're going to be a real family forever." "We already were a real family," Isabella told her. Yes, from the day your dad decided to stay home to take care of you, from the day he forgave me for taking you without permission, from the day all 3 of us decided we wanted to be together. That night, after eating pizza because the rice was unsalvageable, the 3 of them sat on the sofa watching a movie. Sylvia fell asleep between Ricardo and Isabella. "Do you know what I like most about this life?" Ricardo whispered. "What?" "That it's simple. No enormous mansions, no employees, no luxury cars. Just the 3 of us. Don't you miss all that?" "Not at all. This is all I need." Isabella looked at Sylvia sleeping peacefully, without nightmares, without fear. Then she looked at Ricardo, who was no longer the arrogant man she had known, but someone who had learned that true love is built day by day. "Ricardo, thank you." "For what?" "For teaching me that families are not born, they are made. Thank you for teaching me that to love is not to control, it is to care." The next day, Sylvia woke up and found her parents preparing breakfast together. Ricardo was cutting fruit while Isabella made eggs. "Good morning, family," she said, stretching. "Good morning, princess." They both replied at the same time. Sylvia approached the table where her golden bracelet was. For months it had only had the 2 original plates, SP. But that morning there was something new. There was a third tiny plate that said IV and a fourth that said RT. When did you put these on? Last night when you fell asleep, Ricardo said. Now you're officially 3 in 1, Isabella added. Sylvia put on the bracelet and watched it sparkle on her wrist. You know what? What? I think we are the most beautiful family in the world. And in that small kitchen, filled with morning light and the smell of coffee, the three of them knew Sylvia was right. Love there had no last name. It had choice. This beautiful story shows us that families are not always born, but are also built with love, patience, and brave decisions. Like Isabella, who risked everything to protect an abandoned child, or like Ricardo, who learned that being a father is not just providing, but being present. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs to remember that true love transcends blood ties. The message of 3 in 1 is powerful. That we can choose to be family, that we can learn to love better every day, and that happy endings exist when we make the right choices. If you want to continue enjoying stories like this, that inspire us to be better people, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any new stories. And tell us in the comments, from which country are you watching us? Do you know any real stories similar to Sylvia's? We love to know that our stories reach hearts around the world.